Our wedding anniversary. A carefully prepared candlelit dinner sits on the table. My wife, Bai Ningbing, sets down her knife and fork. Her eyes hold 30% resolve and 30% pain. The remaining 40% is pity, as if she has seen through all worldly desires. Fang Yuan, let's get a divorce. I've fallen in love with someone else. Even if I leave with nothing, I still want to be with him. I looked at her carefully applied makeup. Only one thought filled my mind. Yes, Coach Shang Xinci, the gym's 3060 trainer. Here I come. I struggled to suppress the smile tugging at my lips. From the printer behind me, I pulled out the still warm divorce agreement. I've already signed it. Take a look. If everything looks fine, sign it. Oh, and remember to return the car keys and property deed. After all, you're the one leaving with nothing. The tragic leading lady expression on Bai Ningbing's face instantly froze. She had probably prepared an entire speech. I know this is cruel to you. Let me go. And spare yourself. And so on. But I launched the first attack, sending all her prepared lines straight back down her throat. The silence was terrifying. Only the candle flames flickered softly. Why isn't she saying anything? Was she moved by my efficiency? I cleared my throat, trying to break the awkward silence. What is it? Are you unhappy with the agreement? I could make one more concession. How about the BMW I've driven for 3 years? Bai Ningbing's lips trembled, as if she just stepped out of a freezer. Fang Yuan, aren't you sad at all? Sad. So sad, I want to open a bottle of champagne and celebrate right here. Of course, I couldn't say that. I forced a trace of sadness onto my face. What good would being sad do? Your heart has already left. Keeping you here would be pointless. I gazed at her with deep affection, using every bit of acting skill I'd ever learned. Since you found true love, I choose to set you free. Bai Ningbing's eyes reddened instantly. See, that's how this woman is. Beg at her feet, and she thinks you're pathetic. Let her go with dignity, and she wonders if you've wanted to dump her all along. Have you wanted a divorce for a long time? Sure enough, she delivered that classic line. My heart sank. Damn, I'd overacted. I immediately adjusted my performance, switching into abandoned, devoted husband mode. I lowered my head, my shoulders trembling slightly. A hint of a sob crept into my voice. Xiaobing, at a time like this, what's the point of saying all that? I only hope that from now on, you'll be happy. With that, I picked up the red wine on the table and took a huge gulp. The movement was suave, and my expression was perfect. The only problem was that I drank too fast and choked. I coughed violently, tears shooting from my eyes. Perfect. I didn't have to act anymore. The emotion was at its peak. Bai Ningbing watched me cough until my face turned red, my eyes brimming with tears. Her gaze finally softened. She probably thought I was using my coughing to hide my overwhelming grief. Fang Yuan, I'm sorry, she whispered. His name is Wang Dateng. He's a poet. He understands me. Wang Dateng? That name. It doesn't fit a poet's image at all. While coughing, I silently gave this guy I'd never even met a thumbs up. Anyone attracted to a drama queen like Bai Ningbing probably isn't exactly normal either. I raised a hand to stop her from continuing. Stop. I don't want to know. Go on. Tell me your romantic story. I'll treat it as a joke after dinner. I pushed the divorce agreement and pen closer to her. The civil affairs office isn't closed yet. Let's go now and get this over with. Bai Ningbing was completely bewildered. It was probably her first time seeing someone who had been dumped, so eager to rush through the paperwork. Why are you in such a hurry? I sighed and gazed up at the ceiling at a 45-degree angle, holding back my sorrowful tears. Better a short pain than a long one. If I look at you for 1 second longer, I'm afraid I won't be able to stop myself from begging you not to leave. Bai Ningbing's vanity was clearly greatly gratified by my words. She picked up the pen and swiftly signed her name. Fang Yuan, you'll find someone better than me. She handed me the agreement, her tone carrying a hint of pity, as if she were doing me a favor. I accepted it like a priceless treasure. I stood up. I didn't even have time to eat the steak on the table. If I didn't leave now, I might really burst out laughing. I climbed into the car and floored it. The car shot forward like an arrow leaving the bow. Bai Ningbing sat in the passenger seat, clutching the seat belt tightly, her face pale. Slow down. Are you trying to get yourself killed? Exactly. Saying goodbye to you is my rebirth. But aloud, I said, sorry, I got a little carried away. Yet I pressed the accelerator even harder. A 15-minute drive took me only 7 minutes. The entrance to the civil affairs office was brightly lit. When we got out, Bai Ningbing's legs were trembling. She held onto the car door and stared at the words, Civil Affairs Office. Her expression was complicated. Fang Yuan, are we really going this far? Honey, shouldn't I be asking you that? I nodded, my expression filled with pain. You were the one who gave up first. She seemed to want to say something to stall for time. I grabbed her wrist and hurried inside. Come on. Once the paperwork is done, I'll treat you to a farewell meal. Then we'll each go home to our own families and never see each other again. There weren't many people filing for divorce, so our turn came quickly. The clerk was a bespectacled lady. She handed us the forms without changing expression. Fill these out. I picked up my pen and began writing furiously. I completed my personal details and financial information in one smooth burst. Bai Ningbing, however, still hadn't put pen to paper. She gripped the pen, her eyes reddening again. Fang Yuan, in these 5 years, did you really ever love me? I stopped writing and looked up at her. Here it comes, the classic death trap question. So I told her, I did. I said those 2 words with absolute conviction. I loved your money. After all, when we got married, the 300,000 yuan dowry your family provided helped my company through its greatest crisis. Of course, back then, I truly wanted us to have a good life together. Who knew that after we married, her spoiled princess attitude wouldn't change at all. She quit her job and spent every day at home moping melodramatically. Either she thought I wasn't considerate, or she thought life lacked poetry. I'm an architectural designer. I spend every day drawing blueprints and battling clients over details. Where would I find so much time to recite poetry with her? Over time, our feelings naturally faded. My answer seemed to satisfy Bai Ningbing. She sniffed and finally began filling out the form. Just then, my phone rang. I pulled it out and saw that it was my lawyer friend, Xiao Huo. That guy's moral compass was solid as steel. I stepped aside to answer. Hey, old Xiao. What's up? I won. Have you lost your mind? Your wife called me and said you're divorcing her and leaving with nothing. Xiao Huo's voice boomed like thunder, making me pull the phone farther from my ear. I froze for a moment. When had Bai Ningbing called him? I paused, then corrected Xiao Huo. She's leaving with nothing. Not me. That's not acceptable either. Your assets are marital property. Does she have something on you? Tell me the truth. Are you seeing someone else? I glanced at Bai Ningbing nearby and lowered my voice. No, I have nothing to hide. Not right now, but I will soon. Then what are you doing this for? Your apartment is worth at least 5 million yuan now. Your company may not be very big, but it can still pay you 7 or 800,000 yuan a year. And she just gave it all to you. She doesn't even want to share. She was the one who chose to leave with nothing. I can't force money on her, can I? Xiao Huo patiently tried to talk sense into me. Fine, but don't do anything stupid. When a woman says she doesn't want something, it means she wants it. She's testing you. She's pretending to back off so you'll chase her. Don't fall for it. Listening to Xiao Huo's analysis, I almost burst out laughing. Brother, you're still too young. You don't understand married people like us. If she really wanted the money, she wouldn't have offered to leave with nothing. All right, I get it. We'll talk later. I'm busy here. I hung up and walked back. Bai Ningbing had finished filling out the forms too. We handed the forms and our identification to the clerk. She lowered her head to review them, her expression blank throughout. Reason for divorce? Bai Ningbing answered first. Irretrievable breakdown of the relationship. I watched the clerk nod. The clerk looked up at us. There was a hint of joy in her eyes, as if she'd just met her quota for the day. Go over there for your photos. When it was time to take our divorce certificate photos, I tried hard to look sad, but the photographer said, Sir, you're smiling far too happily. Tone it down a little. I fell silent. Oh no, I can't keep it together. When I stepped out of the civil affairs office, holding my freshly issued divorce certificate, even the air felt noticeably fresher. Bai Ningbing clutched the little red booklet. Oh, no. It was a little green booklet now. Standing on the steps, she looked especially forlorn when the wind blew. Fang Yuan, I have nowhere to go tonight. She looked at me, utterly pitiful. Go stay with that poet of yours, Wang Dateng. Why come to me? I complained inwardly, but I put on a perfectly appropriate look of embarrassment. The house isn't ours anymore. According to the agreement, it will be listed for sale tomorrow. We'll split the money equally. That was my final concession. She was supposed to leave with nothing. The house and car should both have been mine. But then I thought, after all, we had been married. There was no point in making things ugly. I might as well be generous. We could sell the house, split the money, and make a clean break. After hearing that, tears began to well up in Bai Ningbing's eyes again. Then, where am I supposed to stay tonight? You can stay at a hotel for now. Or, go stay with a friend. Don't you still have your true love? Bai Ningbing bit her lip and said nothing. Seeing her like that, I could pretty much guess what had happened. That poet named Wang Dateng was probably completely broke. Otherwise, Bai Ningbing wouldn't be left without anywhere to go. What did she see in him? Was it because he could recite poetry? Get in. I'll take you to a hotel first. I sighed and opened the car door. No matter what, we had been husband and wife, so I should at least show some grace. Halfway there, Bai Ningbing's phone rang. She picked it up, glanced at the screen, and immediately muted it. A flicker of panic crossed her face. I glanced at the caller ID in the rearview mirror. Darling Tang. Well, speak of the devil. I pretended not to notice and focused on driving. Bai Ningbing held her phone and hesitated for a long time. In the end, she sent a reply. The atmosphere in the car grew awkward. When we reached the hotel, I pulled over. We're here. Get out. Bai Ningbing unfastened her seatbelt, but didn't get out right away. She turned and stared steadily at me. Fang Yuan, will you regret this? I shook my head and answered calmly. I respect your choice. If one day I realize I was wrong, can I come back? I fell silent. In your dreams, no second chances, and no refunds or exchanges. To Bai Ningbing, my silence probably meant consent, and that I still couldn't let go of our past. But in reality, I was only thinking about whether to celebrate with Japanese food or hot pot. Take care. Bai Ningbing gave me one last long look, then finally got out. Watching her disappear into the hotel lobby, I let out a long sigh of relief. I'm free. I immediately took out my phone and opened the WeChat profile I had barely ever messaged. The profile picture was a cat doing yoga. The username was Shang Xinci. I composed a WeChat message. After agonizing over it for ages, I finally sent it. Coach Shang, long time no see. Are you free sometime soon? I'd like to book a private session with you. After sending the message, my heart began to race. It felt like I was back in college, asking a girl out for the first time. She replied soon after. There was an okay hand emoji, followed by a message. Anytime, Mr. Fang. Seeing the words Mr. Fang, I grinned from ear to ear. I started the car and turned around. I headed straight for the most expensive Japanese restaurant in town. Tonight, I had to treat myself. Early the next morning, I contacted an agent and listed the house for sale. The asking price was 100,000 yuan below market value. I had only one condition. The buyer had to pay in full, so we could finish quickly. The young agent thumped his chest and promised he'd definitely find a buyer within 3 days. I packed a few changes of clothes and moved into a serviced apartment near my company. As soon as I settled in, Xiao Huo called again. Fang Yuan, you really got divorced? I did. Freshly divorced. A loud crash came from the other end of the line, as if something had hit the floor. Holy crap, you actually went through with it. What about the house? And the company? How did you divide the assets? Did you really leave with nothing? We sold the house. We split the money 50-50. The company was my premarital property. It has nothing to do with her. Half? That's still over to million yuan. You just gave her that much. She was the one at fault. Xiao Huo was devastated. I shrugged and answered indifferently. Think of it as severance pay. Money can be earned again, but freedom is priceless. Xiao Huo fell silent. After a long pause, he finally said mournfully, Fang Yuan, how did I never realize you were such a shameless flirt? Heh, that's because you don't know me well enough. I hung up. I changed into workout clothes and headed straight to the gym. Coach Shang Xinci was wearing a pink sports top and leggings. The curves of her figure were stunning. Her defined abdominal lines were clearly visible. That 3060 reputation is clearly well-deserved. Mr. Fang, long time no see. Have you been busy with work lately? She greeted me with a smile. I stepped onto the treadmill and began warming up. Not too bad. I just finished dealing with some personal matters. She gave me a curious look. What do you mean? I got divorced. Shang Xinci clearly froze for a moment, then quickly composed herself. Congratulations. A new lease on life? She spoke tentatively, sounding hesitant. I flashed her a wide grin. It definitely calls for congratulations. Her eyes lit up, and her smile became much more genuine. Then you'd better train hard today to celebrate. For the next hour, I felt like I wasn't working out, but surviving a trial from hell. Coach Shang Xinci's training plan was absolutely brutal. Every exercise targeted my weakest muscle groups with pinpoint accuracy. By the end, my arms and legs no longer felt like my own. When it was finally over, I collapsed onto the yoga mat. I can't go on. Just let me die. Shang Xinci crouched beside me and handed me some water. Mr. Fang, your stamina is terrible. You'll have to train more from now on. She had just finished training, and fine beads of sweat still dotted her forehead. When she smiled, the little canine teeth showed. I was too exhausted to lift my arms, yet my heart was pounding. I took the water and told her to call me Fang Yuan from now on. All right, Fang Yuan. When the session ended, my legs were still trembling. Shang Xinci supported me to the gym entrance and asked, looking concerned, can you drive like this? I think so, but right now, even looking at the steering wheel, I feel like it weighs several hundred pounds. Why don't I drive you home? Does an offer this good really exist? I nodded at once, afraid she'd change her mind if I waited even a second. I climbed into Shang Xinci's Beetle. Upbeat music played in the car, and I finally felt alive again. On the way, she asked about Bai Ningbing, the little princess who lived in her own world. Then why did you marry her in the first place? Because I was blind back then. Shang Xinci burst out laughing. When we stopped outside my apartment, I unfastened my seatbelt, but didn't hurry to leave. Thanks for driving me home. You're welcome. Shall I get going, then? Wait, to thank you, I'd like to take you out for dinner. Would you do me the honor? Sure. We made plans to meet that weekend. That very afternoon, the agent called to say someone was willing to pay for the house in full. He asked me to come sign the contract that evening. I rushed to my former home. The buyers were a young couple preparing to get married. They were very pleased with the house, and we quickly agreed on the contract details. The doorbell rang, and I called out, "Come in." Bai Ningbing walked in with Wang Dateng. "Fang Yuan, what's going on?" "I'm selling the house, didn't you know?" "So soon?" "The sooner I sell it, the sooner you get your money and start your new life." Wang Dateng had long, greasy hair, and wore a wrinkled linen shirt. A few sparse hairs clung to his chin. "So this is the poet. He really is a poet, all right." He scanned the room and curled his lip. "Such tacky decor. The whole place reeks of money. There's not a trace of artistic feeling. We think it's quite cozy. A Philistine's taste." The young buyer's face darkened. I almost burst out laughing. "Keep going, brother. Whatever you do, don't stop playing along." I flattered him. "Mr. Wang is an artist. Naturally, your eye is different from that of ordinary people like us." He lifted his chin, just as expected, and spent ages examining the decorative painting in the living room. "This painting is far too conventional. It has no soul. It's worth 500 at most." "Mr. Wang, you truly have a discerning eye. I bought this on Pinwo Duo for 9 yuan and 90 cents. Shipping included." Wang Dateng looked as if he'd swallowed a fly, and couldn't find a reply for a long moment. Bai Ningbing looked uncomfortable too. She tugged at his sleeve, and urged him to stop talking. But he wasn't finished showing off. He walked over to me again. "I hear from Xiaobing that you work in architecture?" "Yes, just a craftsman. People like you will never understand art or the soul. For Xiaobing to be with you was simply a waste of her life." I looked at him and suddenly smiled. "You're right, Mr. Wang." I turned to Bai Ningbing. "I was wrong before. I wasn't good enough for you. Now, you've found your soulmate, and I'm sincerely happy for you." With that, I signed the contract. I shook hands with the buyer. "Pleasure doing business with you." The young buyer looked at Wang Dateng as if he were an idiot. This deal was worth it. After I left, Bai Ningbing caught up with me and explained. "Dateng didn't mean it. He's just blunt. Blunt. I think his brain is what's crooked. It's fine. I don't care." After hesitating for a long while, she finally asked, "When will the money arrive?" "Within 3 days of completing the paperwork." She sincerely thanked me. I had barely turned around when Wang Dateng called from behind. "Xiaobing, once we get the money, we'll travel the world to find inspiration." With just over 1 million yuan, they still want to travel the world. Would it even get them as far as the little shop at the village entrance? Over the next 2 days, the agent completed the paperwork, and the payment arrived soon after. I transferred Bai Ningbing's share, the full 2,650,000 yuan. Without a cent missing. She replied, "I've received the money. Thank you. I hope you're happy," followed by a smiling emoji. "That damn need to make everything a big occasion." I replied with an okay, then deleted her from WeChat. From then on, our paths would never cross again. Early Saturday morning, I scrubbed up and made myself look halfway decent and drove to pick up Shang Xinci. She wasn't wearing workout clothes. Instead, she changed into a white dress. Her long hair fell over her shoulders. I stared for a moment, stunned, as she opened the car door. "Have you been waiting long?" "No, I just got here too." We had dinner, then went to see a movie. We talked about work and life, and the things we each enjoyed. She was cheerful and optimistic. Sitting with her, I felt completely at ease. Unlike before, when I was always trying to guess which poem would make Bai Ningbing mope dramatically over a lack of rhyme. During dinner, Shang Xinci asked what I planned to do next. "Focus on my career, then find the right person and start a new life." That couldn't have been clearer. Yet she lowered her head and cut her steak, as she murmured, "With so much going for you, you'll definitely find someone." I was so exasperated I almost laughed. The hint was practically sitting in front of her. Did she really not understand? Or was she pretending not to? The movie was a comedy, and she laughed from beginning to end. Several times, she leaned against my shoulder. I caught the scent of shampoo in her hair. My heart raced even harder than it had during the workout. After the movie, I walked her downstairs. Neither of us spoke first. "Then I'll head upstairs." Shang Xinci opened the car door, then suddenly turned back and kissed me on the cheek. "Good night." Blushing, she ran into the building. I touched the spot she'd kissed and sat in the car grinning like an idiot for ages. After that, we saw each other almost every day. Either I went to her classes, or she had dinner with me after work. One day, I was reviewing blueprints at the office when Xiao Huo came rushing in. "Fang Yuan, something happened. Did the sky fall? Your ex-wife beat up her poet boyfriend." My pen jerked in my hand and drew a long line across the blueprint. "Bai Ningbing? She can't even open a bottle cap. Who could she possibly be?" Xiao Huo said Wang Dateng had already called the police and was at the police station. "So, you went to bail her out?" Have I lost my mind? Why would I bail her out? I'm here to give you the news and enjoy the show. That's my good brother. Come on, Let's go see what happened. Everyone loves a little gossip. When we reached the police station, Bai Ningbing's hair was disheveled, and her makeup was streaked with tears. She sat off to one side, all traces of the tragic heroine act completely gone, leaving her utterly bedraggled. Wang Dateng sat on the other side, his head wrapped in gauze, sniffling and crying as he complained to the officer. He said Bai Ningbing was crazy and had nearly killed him. Blood was still seeping through the gauze. It looked like she'd hit him pretty hard. First, tell me why she hit you. Because of money. Her more than 2 million yuan was spent by me in 1 week. By both of us. I told her to ask her ex-husband for more, but she refused and attacked me. Xiao Huohuo and I turned to look at each other at the same time. 2,650,000 yuan. Gone in 1 week. That rate of spending could leave even a rocket in the dust. Bai Ningbing jerked her head up. Wang Dateng, you liar. You said you'd take me around the world. Instead, you went to luxury stores every day to buy bags and watches. You even used my money to buy your ex-girlfriend a 100,000 yuan diamond ring. That was for my mom. Your mom is 20. I almost burst out laughing. This was more dramatic than a primetime family soap opera. Spending more than 2 million yuan in 1 week and dragging an ex-girlfriend into it too. That poet was quite a piece of work. I felt sorry for Bai Ningbing for exactly 1 second. She chose this path herself. She handed over the money with her own hands, and she jumped into the pit herself. This was the very definition of reaping what you sow. The mediation ended with Bai Ningbing paying 5,000 yuan in medical expenses. Wang Dateng insisted that she'd spent the money willingly, so she couldn't get it back. When Bai Ningbing walked out of the police station, she looked completely defeated. She couldn't even come up with 5,000 yuan. Xiao Huohuo had to pay it up front. When she saw me, her lips moved. Fang Yuan, get in. Beside me, Xiao Huohuo desperately signaled at me to stay out of it. I ignored him. We'd been married for 5 years. I couldn't just leave her homeless, but this would be the last time. Bai Ningbing said nothing in the car and simply cried in silence. I stopped outside a budget hotel. I sent her Xiao Huohuo's WeChat contact. Stay here for now. If you need anything, contact him. Xiao Huohuo was sitting in the passenger seat with his face gone completely green. Bai Ningbing raised her swollen, tearful eyes. Fang Yuan, I was wrong. I really was. You realize that now. Too late. There's no undoing the past. Live your life well. I got out of the car and left the rest to Xiao Huohuo. He followed me out, cursing me for being soft-hearted. I couldn't really let her sleep on the street. I'd help her one last time and put the past to rest for good. After seeing Xiao Huohuo off, I was halfway home when Shang Xinci called. Hey, where are you? Her voice sounded cheerful. I'm on the road. I just finished taking care of something. Would you like to have dinner tonight? I found a Thai restaurant that's supposed to be amazing. Sure. She sent me the location. I immediately turned the car around. To hell with the past. I was damn well starting a new life. The Thai food really was excellent. The tom yum soup was tangy, spicy, and appetizing. The pineapple fried rice was sweet and delicious. Shang Xinci loved spicy food. Her face turned bright red as she ate, and she kept sucking in air between bites. During dinner, Shang Xinci kept staring at me. She took a sip of coconut juice, then suddenly set down her glass. Is something bothering you today? Is it that obvious? She pointed at the spot between my eyebrows. It's written all over here. You've been frowning the whole time. I instinctively touched my brow. I didn't hide it from her. I told her what had happened at the police station. He spent more than 2 million yuan in 1 week. Is that man a demon? Pretty much. Then your ex-wife was incredibly stupid. She really was. She gripped her glass for a moment before asking, do you feel sorry for her? And then go soft on her. She asked carefully, unable to hide the worry and tension in her eyes. I looked at her for 2 seconds, then reached across and took her hand on the table. Her hand was soft and warm. Xinci, the past is behind us. I only want to look ahead now. It was the first time I'd called her Xinci directly. Shang Xinci blushed. She tried to pull her hand away, but I held it tighter. And you're the only one I see in my future. She froze. Her face instantly turned bright red, like a perfectly ripe apple. Fang Yuan, you. I stopped beating around the bush. Shang Xinci, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend? Shang Xinci looked at our joined hands, then raised her eyes to me. Her eyes glistened with tears. The restaurant music played softly. Everyone around us seemed to fade into the background. She didn't speak. She simply nodded firmly. It's official. The weight in my heart finally lifted. I was so happy I wanted to pick her up and spin her around 3 times. For the second half of dinner, neither of us could really concentrate. For the second half of dinner, we never let go of each other's hands. When I took her home, it was the same familiar hallway. Last time, she'd kiss me and run away. This time, our relationship was different, yet I was even more nervous than when I'd first asked her to dinner. Then I'll go upstairs. Okay. As soon as she turned around, I wrapped my arms around her from behind. She tensed for a moment, then quickly relaxed and leaned into my arms. We held each other quietly for a long time. Neither of us wanted to let go first. Xinci, I'm especially happy today. Me too. It wasn't until a neighbor came upstairs that we hurriedly pulled apart. Blushing, Shang Xinci said goodnight, then opened the door and slipped inside. I stared at the closed door, grinning like an idiot. Love really was sweet. After we made our relationship official, we worked out, cooked, and watched movies together. We also began planning our future together. A pink toothbrush appeared in my apartment, along with a pair of her slippers, and a diffuser filled with the scent she liked. Each one reminded me that this apartment no longer held only traces of my life. During this time, a project I designed won an international award. The company's business suddenly took off. I was so busy my feet barely touched the ground, but felt energized every day. Still, I knew someone was waiting for me at home. No matter how busy life got, I had something to look forward to. I thought that chapter with Bai Ningbing had finally ended. That day, right after a meeting, I received a text from an unknown number. Fang Yuan, it's Bai Ningbing. Can we meet? I'll wait for you at the cafe we used to visit. I deleted it immediately. Not meeting you. I'm busy. Don't contact me again. A few minutes later, that number called again. I hesitated, but answered. What is it? I really have something important to tell you. Please, just meet me once. All right. Her voice was thick with tears, and she was practically begging. Just 10 minutes, please. The address. Half an hour later, I met Bai Ningbing at the cafe. She had lost a great deal of weight, and her face was sallow. Even her clothes had faded from countless washes. She sat in a corner, nothing like the Bai Ningbing who once had to leave home with perfect makeup and matching clothes and handbag. I sat across from her and asked what she wanted to drink. She only shook her head. She looked up at me, her eyes filled with regret. Why did you want to see me? Fang Yuan, I know I was wrong. I really do. She said Wang Dateng had not only swindled away all her money, but had also coaxed her into borrowing 500,000 yuan. My heart sank. With the interest piling up, the debt had now reached 1 million yuan. What a stupid woman. You really borrowed it? She nodded, and tears fell from her eyes. My expression darkened. So that's why you came to me, to ask me to pay it back for you? No, I didn't come to ask you for money. Bai Ningbing shook her head desperately. Then she took a test report from her bag. The paper was crumpled, and the word positive stood out painfully. It felt like needles stabbing viciously into my eyes. Fang Yuan, I'm pregnant. I stared at those two words on the report, and my mind went blank for a moment. The baby is yours. Impossible. That was my first reaction. Bai Ningbing and I had slept in separate rooms for 6 months before our divorce. The last time had been a month before she asked for a divorce, and I had definitely used protection. She rushed over and grabbed my hand. Fang Yuan, I didn't lie to you. Count the dates. It was that time. I shook her off and calculated the dates again. The timing seemed to match, but that still didn't prove the baby was mine. Are you sure it isn't Wang Dateng's? Bai Ningbing's face instantly flushed. Biting her lip, she said she had always used protection with Wang Dateng and had only failed to use it that one time with me. She said it as though it were something to brag about. A wave of disgust churned in my stomach. I leaned back. So you want me to take responsibility and remarry you? Crying, she nodded and said the baby was innocent and asked me to give her another chance. Suddenly, I found it absurd. Bai Ningbing, do you think I'm some kind of dumping ground? You had your fun with someone else, left behind a complete mess, and now you're carrying a baby whose father might be anyone's, before coming back to dump it all on me. The baby is yours. So, what if it is? She trembled with rage. I stood up and stared at her. Even if the baby is mine, I still won't remarry you. After the baby is born, I'll have a paternity test done. If it's mine, I'll pay child support. That's my responsibility. But beyond that, there is no future for us. I left her with those words and turned to go. Bai Ningbing called me heartless, but I didn't look back. If I didn't cut things off cleanly, it would be irresponsible to Shang Xinci and to myself. When I left the cafe, the sunlight was blinding, yet my heart felt ice cold. I took out my phone and called Shang Xinci. It rang for a long time before she answered. Something was off in her voice, too. Xinci, where are you? I'm downstairs at your office. My heart lurched, and I hurried to the roadside. Sure enough, her car was parked there. I opened the car door. Her eyes were red, and she had clearly been crying. Shang Xinci didn't let me explain. She only held out her phone. On the screen were secretly taken photos of Bai Ningbing and me at the cafe. The photos had been sent by an unknown number. They came with a message. Your boyfriend and his ex-wife have rekindled their romance. Xinci, things aren't what they look like. She's pregnant, isn't she? I couldn't deny it. Shang Xinci looked at me as tears slid down her cheeks. Don't explain. I've seen everything. Shang Xinci took back her phone. Fang Yuan, I'm confused. I need some time alone. She started the car and drove away. I reached for the door, but the car had already merged into traffic. The words calm down felt like a knife in my heart. When I returned to the office, Xiao Huo saw that I looked like a lost soul and pulled me inside. What happened? Are you possessed? I told him everything about the cafe, the test report, and the secretly taken photos. After hearing me out, Xiao Huo whereupon his brows. What should I do? 2 things. First, get a paternity test and let the facts speak. Second, explain everything clearly to Shang Xinci. If you've done everything you should and she still doesn't believe you, then perhaps you were meant to meet, but not meant to stay together. His words were like a bucket of cold water that finally jolted me awake. I immediately called Bai Ningbing. Which hospital did you go to for the prenatal checkup? I'll come there now and confront you in person. Then we'll arrange a paternity test. There was silence on the other end. What? Lost your nerve? Fang Yuan, you really have to pressure me like this. I'm not pressuring you. You're the one forcing my hand. She hung up. When I called again, her phone was off. I knew what that meant. If she were truly certain the baby was mine, the first thing she should do would be to show me the test results and cooperate with the paternity test, instead of switching off her phone and hiding. That left only Shang Xinci. I sent her message after message, but still couldn't get through by phone. I drove to the building beneath her apartment again, and waited from dawn until dark. She never came back. I kept watch over my phone, afraid I might miss even one message from her. I felt like I was going insane. Just as I was about to give up, my phone finally lit up. Shang Xinci had sent only a photo of an airline ticket. The destination was Tibet. The flight left at 8 tomorrow morning. She was leaving me. I absolutely couldn't lose her. It felt as if a fist had suddenly clenched around my heart. I drove straight to the airport. I reached the airport at 5 in the morning. I searched the departure hall for a long time, and finally saw her at the security checkpoint. Shang Xinci pulled her suitcase, walking away with grim determination. Shang Xinci. She paused but didn't turn around. I rushed over and hugged her from behind. Don't go. Let me explain. The baby isn't mine. Bai Ningbing wouldn't take a paternity test. She has already switched off her phone. My voice trembled. Shang Xinci struggled briefly and told me to let go. I won't. You're the one I love. Give me one more chance, please. Shang Xinci turned around and pounded on me through her tears. You bastard. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Everyone around us turned to look, but the only person I cared about was the one in front of me. I let her hit me, finally smiling. Then I cupped her face and kissed her. We didn't part for a long time. That kiss held the wild joy of getting back what I'd lost, and the relief of surviving a disaster. Are you still leaving? She shook her head, blushing, then glanced at the ticket in her hand. Can we get a refund for that ticket? Forget the refund. We're going together. I took her hand and led her straight to the ticket counter. Please give me a ticket for the next available flight to Tibet. As for Bai Ningbing and all that mess, to hell with it all. As for my future, I'll move forward with the woman